because there's something inside of us that wants to be a part of. And instead of being authentic and vulnerable with how we are feeling, we twist it and turn it and talk bad about somebody else on this planet to use that as a connection. Shh. Welcome to the Secret Life Podcast. Tell me your secret. I'll tell you mine. Sometimes you have to go through the darkness to reach the light. That's what I did. After 12 years of recovery in sex and love addiction, I finally found my soulmate, myself. Please join me in my novel, Secret Life of a Hollywood Sex and Love Addict, a 4-time bestseller on Amazon. It's a brutal, honest, raw, gnarly ride, but hilarious at the same time. Check it out now on Amazon. Welcome to Secret Life Podcast. I'm Brianne Davis-Gantt. Today, I'm pulling back the curtains of all kinds of human secrets. We'll hear about what people are hiding from themselves or others. You know those deep, dark secrets you probably want to take to your grave, or those lighter, funnier secrets that are just plain embarrassing. Join me each week as we take a deep dive into one subject matter, exploring the how, what, when, where, and why of it all. Get ready for a more focused, more revealing journey of the human experience. Welcome to Secret Life, and I'm excited for you to join the ride. And today we are talking about dun dun dun. Gossiping is a false form of intimacy. Dun dun dun. False intimacy. When you gossip, it's false intimacy, people. That is what I want to talk about because I am listening to people all the time right now. They gossip and it makes them feel closer to people in their life. It is not true. It is actually false intimacy. You are creating a connection that is not real. It is not real. When you gossip about an event that's happening, about a person you don't even know, that is false intimacy. But especially if it's people in your real life or friends or exes or situations like that, you are creating false intimacy. It's not a real connection. Gossiping isn't a real connection. It is a place where we use toxicity, talking bad about other people, complaining about other people, taking that shit and giving it to somebody else and forming that fake bond to feel closeness, because there's something inside of us that wants to be a part of. And instead of being authentic and vulnerable with how we are feeling, we twist it and turn it and talk bad about somebody else on this planet to use that as a connection instead of coming from, wow, I'm hurt by this person. Not bad about them, how they made us feel, and then having that authentic connection. Or going through a hard time. I'm dealing with this person in my life and I'm going through this hard time. Instead, we make it about that other person. This person's a bad person. This person's a narcissist. This person is this. We go to our friends and do that instead of taking it to, say, you can go to your therapist, your support person you pay. That's not gossiping. That's actually working through something or getting rid of a toxic person. But when you keep going to people in your life, talking about family members, partners, friends, and gossiping about them to form connections and closeness, that's called attachment. That is false intimacy. So I want you to look in your life. Who do you gossip about? Who do you gossip about in your life that makes you feel closer to another person? Usually it's groups of friends. So I have a couple clients that love to gossip. They do it at work. They do it with old friends. And when they got kicked out of a group, you know who I'm talking about if you're listening right now, they missed that catty gossipiness of the friendship. And I said, well, you didn't like them. Like, what do you miss? And she was like, she couldn't find anything about the friendships and the group that she missed. And she said, well, they've just been in my life a long time. And I was like, yeah, that's not a reason to keep people around. What did you miss? And she's like, well, I would talk, or we would, talk about each other and connect. And like I said, but they just brought toxicity to your life, and you talked to that girl, called you about this situation, and then that triggered you, and then you talked bad about her, and then so really it's just you liked that false intimacy you were creating in this group to feel a part of, because deep down you just wanted to feel a part of. And we're all looking to feel a part of, especially when we come from a dysfunctional family. So if you come from a dysfunctional family, there's a part of us always searching to be a part of. That's why there's cults. That's why there's QAnon. That's why there's things people join that are bad, because we want to be a part of. And that's what gossiping does. It makes us a part of something in a smaller form. So I want you to look in your life where you gossip. Do you go to groups in workplaces? Talk bad about the coworkers to feel a part of, separate, so you can feel intimate with these specific people to make that person separate so you can feel a part of. Because that's not a way to have intimacy. Because if you're gossiping with this other person, there's the likelihood they're gossiping about you. Yeah. And if someone comes to you, because then I had another example, a client's like, well, I don't gossip about anybody, but I do join in when other people gossip. And I was like, that's the same thing. You're still wanting to be a part of, and that's not real. And if they're gossip coming to you to gossip, you gotta bet they're going to other people and gossiping about you. So it doesn't mean anything. You're not special. That's not real. They're just using you to feel that attachment and intimacy and false intimacy. So if someone comes to you and gossips about somebody else, they're actually using you to get high, to fill a need, to feel a part of. So you got to turn to them and be like, yeah, this makes me uncomfortable. Like, I don't really want to talk bad about anybody. Like, that's not my thing, man. Like, you are allowed to say that and hold that boundary, because here's the deal. If you join in, they're going to then use you later as something to gossip about because you allowed it to happen. And you're almost giving them a right of way to use you as a subject later because you participated in the gossip. So people always say, but I'm allowed to talk to my close friends. Oh my God, my close friends. If I'm having a problem, it's like, yeah, you're allowed to, but there's a difference between, I would say, venting and gossiping. So let's go through what's the difference between venting and gossiping? Because there is a difference. You can go to people for help. So venting is seeking understanding and emotional support. Gossiping is spreading rumors about somebody else. So venting is if you're dealing with the situation and needing support and understanding. Gossiping is spreading rumors. Venting is help release frustration and pent up anger. Gossiping is rises out of boredom. You want entertainment. You are bored. So look at every time you want to talk shit about something or somebody, you're probably bored. So when you have that, go, why do I want to go say that? Am I bored? Most likely, yes. Venting it's centered around your own personal experience. Gossiping is centered around humiliating others. So do you want to humiliate and embarrass others? Venting is done with a trusted circle of people, right? Or a trusted circle of one person. Gossiping is done with multiple people, like you would say it to multiple people. Venting is led to solve something, resolve something, and there's growth in it. Gossiping will actually create more conflict and negativity. Gossiping, there's no solution. It actually creates more problem. And that's where I think if you are about to say something and it's going to create a new problem, stop yourself. Does this need to be said? Does this need to be said by me? Does this need to be said right now? And does this need to be said to this person? And I am telling you, most likely, no. Do I feel, and here's the question, will I feel good saying this, and is it going to heal? Or is it going to leave me feeling guilty and bad? if the answer is the B, that's gossiping because it's going to leave you feeling bad. And if then you have to ask yourself, is this going to vocalize my feeling? Because if I hold on to them, is it going to like fester inside of me? Or does this come from a desire to be nasty instead of general concern about somebody? These are the questions you ask yourself. So I want you to sit and really think, is this worth saying? All those questions in the end, is it really going to help move this world forward? Or am I just looking for a false intimacy and connection with somebody because I can't sit within myself? And then sit within yourself. Set a timer, 10 minutes. And most likely that feeling to go say something or gossip or text that person information you just heard or a situation will actually evaporate, and you'll go on a walk and actually connect to yourself, and it will disappear because there's just a part of you that is bored and wants to escape self and connect to another, attach to another, and get that false intimacy. So that is my thing. Try that today. Try that exercise, sitting with yourself when you get information. If you want to like call and gossip and try to escape self and have that false intimacy, or reach out to those old people to be like, oh my God, did you hear? No. Pause. Set a timer. Sit in it. You don't need to, because that false intimacy will evaporate and there will be guilt afterwards. And then you're going to wonder, oh my God, I just created a bigger problem. If that person goes to that person, conflict. Thank you for listening to Secret Life Podcast. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic. If you have a subject you want me to talk about it, please shoot it over to secretlifepodcast@icloud.com. Until next time. Thanks again for listening to the show. Please subscribe, rate, share, or send me a note at secretlifepodcast.com. And if you'd like to check out my book, head over to secretlifenovel.com or Amazon to pick up a copy for yourself or someone you love. Thanks again. See you soon.